Greetings from the Office of International Programs at Framingham State University. In this video, we're going to talk about the financial aspects of undertaking a study abroad experience, including things like how to transfer financial aid, complete international billing and payments, and handle your money overseas. We want all students to know that study abroad is affordable. Here at Framingham State, we tend to work with study abroad programs where the cost of tuition and housing fees will be similar to, or sometimes less than, those same expenses here on campus. When choosing a specific study abroad program or host institution overseas for your education abroad, be sure to verify the published tuition costs, housing fees, and other essential expenses that are associated with this experience. Different study abroad programs include different services as part of your fees, such as things like excursions, local transportation, in-country health insurance, and so forth. For a majority of Framingham State students who study abroad, the overall price of their semester in another country usually costs right around the same general expense that a semester here on campus would be. But understandably, every place is different, and certain study abroad experiences could cost more or less than what you are accustomed to paying here at FSU. You should be able to find this kind of cost information posted on the website of your chosen study abroad program, but if you have any doubts, check with them directly. The majority of Framingham State students receive some form of financial aid to study here on campus. Your financial aid package is transferable to help pay for a semester abroad experience. Financial aid encompasses a broad range of different sources of funding to pay for your higher education. This can include institutional scholarships and grants issued by FSU from our endowed funds, government-issued grants from the federal or state government, such as the federal Pell Grant or the Massachusetts State Grant, and outside scholarships awarded by third-party educational organizations or foundations. These are all forms of financial aid which you do not have to pay back in the future. In addition, financial aid includes low-interest government student loans from the federal and state government, as well as alternative student loans obtained through a private bank or other private lender. These student loans will eventually need to be paid back after you have graduated from college. Your financial aid package is administered by the FSU Financial Aid Office, which is located on the 5th floor of the McCarthy Center. And you can always contact that office if you have questions about your unique financial aid package. As well, if you'd like to look up the details of your financial aid package, that information is available through the My Framingham online system. If you already receive financial aid, you know that you need to fill out an online annual form known as the FAFSA, which stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. The FAFSA form is managed by the United States Department of Education and is used to collect financial information about your family's household income to determine the different forms of financial aid for which you are eligible. You need to fill out the FAFSA every year to determine your eligibility for financial assistance during the upcoming academic year. Our financial aid office here at FSU normally updates the student financial aid package every summer with updated information that you will provide through the FAFSA. During the semester before your study abroad, students who receive financial aid will need to complete a form known as a Study Abroad Financial Aid Consortium Agreement. You can get a blank copy of this form from the FSU Office of International Programs or from our financial aid office. You should start working on this document after you have been accepted to a specific study abroad program and have paid your deposit and confirmed your enrollment in their upcoming program. You, the student, must complete and sign the first section of the form to provide essential information about yourself. Next, you must send this consortium agreement document to your recruitment advisor or other admissions office contact person at your study abroad program or host university overseas. That would be the same person or office which contacted you to tell you that you had been admitted to their program. That person will be able to fill out the next section of the form, which asks about the dates of the study abroad semester and the comprehensive costs, including tuition, housing fees, and other estimated expenses. It's possible that you could just look this information up online on their website, but for official record-keeping purposes, we need them to write down these numbers and dates on the form. After filling out the necessary information, an authorized representative from your chosen study abroad program or host university overseas should sign the appropriate section on the second page of the consortium agreement. They should then return this 2-page signed document to you so that you can forward it to the Framingham State Financial Aid Office. During the weeks and months leading up to your departure for study abroad, you'll schedule a short conversation with the FSU Financial Aid Office to submit the consortium agreement to them and confirm when your financial aid funds will be dispersed to you. You will normally need to file your consortium agreement with the financial aid office during either November or December before a spring semester abroad, or during June or July in advance of a fall semester abroad. Most of the time, financial aid is only used for fall or spring semester abroad experiences. Short-term programs during the summer session or January term oftentimes are not long enough to qualify for financial aid, and you might not have any financial funds remaining in the summertime if you have already used those funds to pay for school during the academic year here on the Framingham State campus. However, there are some unique circumstances where students can use financial aid for a short-term study abroad experience, and so you should reach out to the financial aid office as early as you can to ask about this possibility. If you study abroad through one of Framingham State's specific university exchange agreements during a fall or spring semester, you will continue to pay your normal fees for tuition to Framingham State as if you were here on campus, and you will pay your housing fees directly to your host university abroad. This is specifically and only the case for FSU's current exchange agreements with a small number of select universities in England, Hong Kong, China, Ecuador, and Canada. For virtually all other study abroad experiences around the world and throughout the academic year, whether short-term or long-term, you will be paying all of your tuition and housing fees directly to your chosen study abroad program or host university overseas. In those situations, which encompass the vast majority of Framingham State students who study abroad, you will not pay anything to FSU during your study abroad experience. You will, however, continue to be an FSU student with access to the various student support services which our university provides. Your chosen study abroad program or host university overseas will send you an invoice for the costs that you are expected to pay to them. They should provide information on payment deadlines and methods of payment that they accept. If you have any questions or need additional assistance to pay your bill to them, contact them directly to iron out those details. Now, remember that financial aid consortium agreement form that we had talked about earlier? As long as you have correctly filled out that document and filed it with the Framingham State Financial Aid Office, you will receive a direct deposit of your financial aid money so that you can use those funds to pay for your tuition and fees to your study abroad program. It's important to be aware, however, that your study abroad program could have a standard payment deadline, which is earlier than when your financial aid money is available to you. So what should you do in that situation? Well, you could pay your fees to your study abroad program before their deadline and then get a reimbursement later when your financial aid is dispersed to you. But understandably, most students simply don't have that much money on hand to pay up front. In the majority of cases, students are waiting to receive their financial aid so that they can use the money to pay their tuition and fees for study abroad. If your study abroad program has an earlier payment deadline, contact them directly to request an extension. Ultimately, they don't want you to withdraw from their program due to a payment deadline, especially when they know that you have financial aid coming in the future. They usually will want to be flexible with you to enable you to study abroad with them, and they will frequently postpone your payment deadline until a later date in the future once you have received your financial aid money from Framingham State. It is possible that they will have some sort of financial aid deferment form or verification document that they want you to get signed and returned to them. If that's the case, the FSU Financial Aid Office can sign that kind of document for you so that you can return it to them, to your study abroad program. Throughout your time living in another country, you obviously will need to spend some money on all sorts of day-to-day expenses that come up. Before you depart the United States, be sure to notify your bank and your credit card company that you will be traveling abroad for a particular amount of time. When they see your card is being used in another country, their security systems might think that some sort of fraud is taking place, and so they could freeze your card. So you have to notify them ahead of time, either by calling the number on the back of your card or making the appropriate notification through your online banking app. In many parts of the world, people use credit and debit cards with the same frequency that we do here in the United States. Be sure to check with your bank about any international transaction fees, which they may put on your cards every time you make a purchase in another country. Some cards don't charge these sorts of fees, but others do. Obviously, you don't want to rack up lots of little extra charges if you can avoid them. If your cards will incur an international transaction fee when used abroad, then you may find that you end up using cash a little bit more frequently to make your essential routine purchases. Your debit card with a 4-digit PIN should work at bank ATM machines in other countries, where, for a small fee, you can take out money in the local currency at the current exchange rate. For safety and security reasons, we do not recommend traveling with large amounts of cash on your person. Once you arrive in your study abroad destination, be sure to send a quick email to the Framingham State Office of International Programs so that we know that you have arrived safely and we can mark down your arrival in our records. For financial aid and enrollment verification purposes, we just need to have a record that you've arrived overseas. We hope that this information is helpful as you prepare for an upcoming international education experience. Remember that you can always reach out to the Office of International Programs and to the FSU Financial Aid Office if you have questions about these topics. We look forward to supporting you as you plan for the academic journey of a lifetime.